again and welcome back. If you are new around here, then hi, nice to meet you, and if you are returning, thank you very fucking much for coming back. My name is Alana and I'm a 30-something lady living in Scotland. That is where the accent is from, and I normally on this channel like to talk about some beauty, some skincare, travel, lifestyle kind of bullshit, but we also like to throw in a little bit about health and things as well, because I am a full-time nurse in the NHS and I do also have some health conditions myself. So if you are new around here, as I said, hello, it is nice to meet you. This video is going to be my 2021 roundup of the makeup things. I am going to have a skincare one up as well. I will put that up in the top corner if and when it is up. If you are new, don't rely on me to put things up regularly. I am the worst YouTuber ever, but I try my best. Also, I did do these last year. I'm sure I've done them the year before as well. I will link them up in the cards too, because if you would like to see what has changed over the years and what has stayed the same, that is one of the things that I really enjoy about watching, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram, wherever you're watching your kind of beauty content creators. I like to see what changes, because there is nothing worse when people show you a product once and you never see it again. I am guilty of doing that. I have done it over the years. I have done it a couple of times even in this year. But when you're somebody who's using quite a lot of products, I am not an influencer, I am just an enthusiast, you only have one face. So it is important that we remember, you know, you don't necessarily need to pick up absolutely everything. And that's why I like videos like this, because if something has been picked up year after year, and you've heard me talking about it through the year, then that might give you an idea of, yeah, maybe I want to spend my money on that, maybe I don't want to bother with the other stuff. There will also be a regrets video as well up and coming. I'm actually, as I usually would tell you to grab a tea, a coffee, a cuppa, I've just got a glass of, this is diluting juice. I don't know what you call it in other countries. We call it diluting juice in Scotland. I think in England they call it squash. It's just water with the stuff in it. I would say grab a tea, a coffee, a cuppa, but I am so full of cheese, biscuits, chocolate, all that kind of stuff. We are in full swing of crimbo limbo here at the moment. So for that reason, I've just got my glass of juice and my friend is coming round for some nachos later. You know, Feliz Navidad and all that kind of stuff. So let's just get into this. So I'm going to do this in order, kind of similar to I've done last year. I always write a little list. I went back and watched the video last year to see what I spoke about. So I've got a list of kind of order of stuff that I would put on my face makeup wise. This is more colour, cosmetics, that kind of thing. And I also have a couple of honourable mentions to throw in at the end. So we're going to start off with primers. Last year, and it is here again, and it is absolutely nearly finished within an instant of its life. This is the Beauty Pie Illuminating, All in Wonder Illuminating Primer, and this one is in Nude Glow. But it is a pretty sheer primer. It's not something that's going to leave a lot of opacity, like it's not going to leave a lot of colour on your skin. It's very, very sheer. Has a slight hint of tint to it, but I think that a lot of skin tones could get use out of this. I don't think if you were terribly fairer than me, it would make you look overly yellow, and I don't think if you were overly darker than me, it's going to look pasty and chalky on your skin either. But for people who are really, really dark, kind of ebony black skin, I don't know how that would work on you. So I feel like they've brought other colours out, but don't quote me on that. Love it. It is probably the most used thing that I use, for the simple fact it's easy to carry about. I take it to work basically any day that I'm working. This will be what's on my face. It's, as I say, not got any real coverage to it, but it just gives a nice luminosity to the skin. And when you're wearing a mask for 12.5 hours of a day, you're not really wanting to be caked in makeup. You just don't. And this is such an easy go-to. But I've never enjoyed a heavy coverage foundation, or even erring on the side of medium to heavy. I've never enjoyed. So for this reason, this is fantastic. I love it. I will purchase another one, and I think it's fabulous. The other one that comes up a very, very close second, and for kind of different times of the year and for different reasons, this is in a glass bottle. It's from Glossier and it is the Future Dew. This is wonderful. It has a slight more pearlescent pink tone to it. This one is a little bit more, I would say, just a nice kind of, it's just a really nice luminosity. It's not got a golden hint or anything like that to it. It's just luminous, just dewy on the skin. This one is a little bit more pink, but not like, so you've got pink highlight on like I've got on today. It's not like that. But what I will say is that this is obviously in a glass bottle. It's not as easy to carry about, so I don't throw this into my makeup bag for work. So it's something that I use more if I'm in the house, but I will put this on, especially throughout the summer, both of them, throw it on, put on a little concealer and be on my merry way, because I don't wear foundations that often. Speaking of foundations, there has been a slight change this year, and I don't think this will come as a surprise to many of you. It's the Nabla Skin Realist. This one is in light, which is number 2. As you can see, at this time of year, this is a little too dark for me, but in the summer it's perfect. So that is probably why I've used a lot more of this than this one. And this one is number 1 in fair. Now, this is okay on my skin, but I do feel like it's so pale that it's just a little noticeable on my skin. I don't know how else to describe it. It just makes me look a little bit sick. So I feel like this one is just a little too light. This one at the moment is a little too dark, but in the summer is perfect. So I kind of have been mixing them together, but I've found that in the winter months into autumn and winter, I've not reached for this quite as much, because it is a very dewy, very skin-like, glowy finish, and I prefer this kind of finish in the summer. In the winter months, as I say, I will probably go for something like this and then a concealer just in places that I need it. Whereas in the summer, I'll just put this all over my face and kind of head out the door. Maybe a little concealer under the eyes, but that's about it. But I do love this stuff. I think it's so nice. I feel like if there was a shade in between these two, or maybe even a shade that was just a little more of a pink undertone, that would be perfect for me. But this one is my perfect in the summer, and I will use it up this summer as well. What is the lifespan? Oh, I am definitely going to need the granny specs for this one. I think that says 12 months. I think so. I really need to go and get my eyes tested again. But I will use this up during this summer, as long as it smells okay and all that kind of stuff. I will put it back on my face. I'm not telling anybody else to do that, but that's what I'll do. And sneaking in at the end of the year, and maybe this is cheating a little bit, because people will be like, how can you say this is a year thing if you've only just started using it in the last like week, 2 weeks? It's the Fenty Beauty, pick your jaw up off the floor, because I'm actually saying that I like a Fenty product. This is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Hydrating Foundation. I mentioned that I picked this up in my Black Friday haul. I picked up 110, I think, 110, and I was like, that is ghost, like, if you think this is ghostly white, oh my god, this was like white. It was practically white. And I think that wasn't even the lightest one. I think it was the second lightest one. So I went into Boots, and Boots very kindly did swap it for me, because I hadn't opened it, I hadn't used it, and I was like, look, I ordered this online. It's far too pale for me. Basically, this one is 160. So this one is actually a lot darker, and this is like 4 or 5 shades darker than the 110 I initially went for. I think 120 looked an okay match, but when I put them on the back of my hand, I thought this one here, it just had a little bit more pink to it than the other one, and I thought, do you know what, that's what I need. I feel a lot of foundations a lot of the time are just that little bit too yellow for me, or really cool and pale, and I am definitely a rosy cheeked kind of lady, even though I know I've got a little blush on today, but I am definitely a naturally rosy cheeked kind of person, and for that reason I was like, right, I'm taking the one with a little bit more ruddy undertone. As I say, I've only been using it for 10 days. I've got it on today, I'm wearing it today. I really like it. What can I say? I think I've had it on in the past kind of 10 days to 2 weeks, maybe 6 or 7 times. Sometimes just around the house because I've been testing it out, and other times it's been out and about. Like Christmas Day, this is what I wore, and I really like it. And I'm like, thank the Lord there's something from Fenty that I can actually say that I enjoy, because I am aware it was starting to get to the point, if this didn't work for me, I was never buying from Fenty again. I know people say they love Fenty. Loads of people have messaged me over on Instagram saying, oh, I love this from Fenty, try this, try that. I have tried now maybe 6 things from Fenty that I'm just like, 5 things and this will be the 6th. And I didn't like them. Either they were okay, and I thought for the price and for what it is and all that kind of thing, I could get cheaper, or they just didn't work for me at all. So I am so glad that this worked for me, and I'm really enjoying it so far. The other thing I want to say is this, in comparison to the Skin Realist, is definitely more of a slightly wintertime foundation for me, and I feel it is heavier coverage than this or either of the 2 kind of primers that I spoke about. I feel like it definitely feels like I've got foundation on when I'm wearing this, but it is nice. I don't feel caked, it doesn't dry out, I don't feel like it's flaking on my skin or anything like that when I get a little bit more dry in the winter. It works really well, but also doesn't go that overly greasy way that I feel like this might do sometimes. Even though I wear this in the summer, I feel like this one has a tendency to do that. In the summer I don't mind looking a little sweaty. In the winter I want to look a little bit more perfected, so that's why this is the winner. Moving on to concealers, I am gonna say Glossier Stretch again. This must be, is this the third or the fourth year running that I've mentioned Glossier Stretch? I don't have a Glossier Stretch open at the moment because I used one up and I'm working my way through other concealers at the moment. I didn't want to I've got a new one, but I didn't want to open it just for the sake of this video. So, but what I am going to mention, because you've probably seen me speak about quite a lot this year, is the Beauty Pie, and this is the Super Luminous Under Eye Genius Corrector and the Shiseido Synchro Skin. Now, the Beauty Pie one, I think the reason I wanted to try it was because it looks so similar to the Glossier pots, it looks so similar to the Stretch Concealer, and I have been using it. It's kind of what I've been going to use for work. I don't like loads on my face at work. I've said this a million times before, and it's really quick and easy. I just dip a little brush in, swish some under the eyes, on my way, happy as Larry. But what I will say is, it is not a dupe for Stretch. It's close, but it's not a dupe. So if you are a Stretch lover and you thought, I wonder if I can try this and it's maybe a little cheaper, maybe, you know, I think they're both equally difficult to get your hands on, because Beauty Pie you have to be a member, Glossier, unless you want other things from Glossier, it's one of those situations. So I kind of feel like I can't say, oh, this one's cheaper, go and pick this up in Boots, for instance. It's good, but I feel like I won't purchase this one again. I will stick to the Glossier Stretch. I just know that's what I like. But it is okay. I also picked this up in light medium. I have to say that I think that is completely wrong, because this is definitely a very, very fair tone. Light, maybe, but medium, I would not imagine anybody with a medium skin tone could pull this off. I think this is too fair. I will finish it, but I just wanted to mention it because I know I spoke about it quite a lot this year. It's good, but it's just not as good as Glossier Stretch. The Synchro Skin, however, who'd have thought that I would be using a liquid concealer with a doe foot applicator after all these years? For so long now, I have been adoring the Glossier Stretch. I love that kind of, you know, sheer wash of a concealer, luminous, like glowy under the eye. It doesn't quite settle down, it doesn't set, and I know that sounds like a nightmare to some people, but Glossier Stretch and me, we are lovers, and I love it, and I love that reason that I can just go back in and tap it out if it gets stuck in any fine lines. I always found with liquid concealers, the problem was that they would set, but then they'd be in the fine lines and you couldn't tap them back out. That kind of situation would occur sometimes. This, however, the Synchro Skin, I really enjoy it. I really, really like it. I have the shade 210, is it? Again, I am desperately needing to go and get my eyes checked. 201, sorry. And this is really, really nice. And this, alongside either of the primers, has been what I've been kind of going to throughout the winter before I found the Fenty. That would be what I would do, put on a little bit of primer, just put some of this around the nose, the eyes, under the chin, on these kind of marks where I've had spots in the past, things like that. This is lovely. I really, really like it, and I would absolutely buy it again. So this is a little rogue one that I didn't really expect to love, but here we are, and I think it's great. Alright, so bronzers. I don't think either of these will be a surprise to you. I think last year I said NARS Laguna. Again, still a fantastic bronzer, still really love it. But I have to say, the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, I have heard about this for years. Like, I want to say 5 or 6 years. I have been watching YouTube and beauty YouTube probably since about 2007. I have been there from the start, you know, Michelle Fan, way back in way when, was it Blair somebody as well? Sparkage, all that, like people who were doing beauty tutorials on their webcam. That's how long I've been watching it. And this stuff, I remember when people were speaking about this and I was like, I can't get that here. I can't get it. I want to try it. It smells like coconuts. This is the first year that I tried this and I have to say, I get the hype. I love it. This is the shade Bronzer. It doesn't have anything else, and also doesn't have the yellow writing on the packaging. I was never quite sure why this one didn't. You can go into Boots now and some of them do have the yellow writing, some of them don't. I don't know if they were just changing up packaging on certain ones. I have to say, I do wish they would change this fucking setup, because This is just not required. Just put it in a smaller one. But this bronzer, I'm gonna hit pan in this bronzer. I don't know if you can see that. Like it was almost like a wave effect, like ripple sand effect. It's gone. It's gone. I have used this bronzer so much this year. And I would say, I think they come in light and deep and like a bronze as well. Like they come in different colours, but I just picked up the original and this is just called bronzer. And I feel like this is a little lighter, and I'm someone who does have kind of pale and, as I say, ruddy skin, but it works so well throughout the whole year. It's what I've got on today actually, and I just love it. I think it's great. It's great drugstore option. It's really, maybe just a little bit more expensive than some normal drugstore items that we'd be used to, but wonderful. Love it. And going from a drugstore option to something a little bit more bougie, I think you knew I was going to say something about the Vive bronzers as well, because I just love them. I think they're so nice. I think everything about the Vive bronzers, the packaging is beautiful, everything about it makes it feel a little sleek and like really luscious and a little bit more luxurious. I picked up this one originally in the summer. This is the medium 1 and 2, and I also picked up this one later on in the year, maybe October, November time. This is light 1 and light 2 when I went to the pop-up shop. I'm really glad I own both. I know it seems a bit silly that I own both. Let me just show you them side by side. There we go, that is them there. So this one is the light one, this one is the deep one. The strange thing is that the light one I can kind of use both, that's fine. And the deep one, or not the deep one, medium I should say, sorry. This one here, the deeper one, medium 2, is the only one I feel I can use in summer. Medium 1 is just a little too orange. The other ones are like cool enough that I can get away with it, that it goes on my very pale skin. In the summer when I've got a tan, this one works perfectly. So what I probably will do is end up popping one of these into here next to the deep one during the summer months, and that will probably become my go-to summer and winter bronzer. But at the moment I've just been using the light one, and I can use both of these and I think they work really well. I love them. I think they're fantastic. They're really good. Are a little bit more expensive, but I think very much worth it, and they feel luxurious like a high-end product should. Alright, blusher. If you know me, I fucking love blush. Usually cream blush, that is my favourite, but there is a little powder one thrown in here as well for good measure. Now I did mention these in my gift video, I'm sure it was, whatever it was, very last minute gift guide, and these are the Vision Flushes from Denona, and I have to say these are phenomenal. Now you can use these all over the face, it doesn't have to just be blusher, you can put it on your eyes, your lips, everywhere, and I think these are amazing. So easy to work with, but most of the time I am using them in a blush kind of bronze area. Toasted Almond is what I would use for sculpting during the summer months. Sweet Nectar is a beautiful like orange coral blush. Ballet Slippers is a little bit more like a warmer, almost a bronzer on me in the winter months, but it's just this really nice kind of neutral shade. It's called Ballet Slippers, but I don't find it to be overly pink at all. This is very good. I use this on the eyes, the lips, the cheeks. I've done monochromatic looks with it. I love it. And Black Cherry is this beautiful, dark, deep plum shade, like similar to what I've got going on my lips, but maybe even a little bit darker. I think these are fantastic. I'm so glad that I became aware of Denona, because I just think a lot of the things that she's released and a lot of the things that I became aware of, I just think are wonderful. The other blushes that I'm going to mention are the Spectrum Pinch Pots, because these are probably my go-to everyday blushes. If I'm just getting out the house to go and do a bit of shopping, maybe even to go to work, I might take this one here in Joyful. They are just so easy and so beautiful on the skin. They don't leave a sheen or anything like that. They're very much just like the colour is there, but there's no obvious texture or anything. So if you're not into cream blush because sometimes you think it's hard to work with, these are wonderful. The only thing I will say is that the pan size is tiny. I would prefer if they made the whole of the base of this like the pan size, so you could get other brushes in it. It does come with its own brush, but I just feel like you would like to be able to use your own brushes as well. I can use my own brushes in it, I just kind of swirl it about best I can, but I wish they would change the pan size. I also think that these are really cute, but do they need to be this size? I don't know, they're awkward to store, that's the only thing. And I would say as well that the packaging this actually comes in is extreme. Like, there's no need for it. I seen that Kelly picked these up on her Black Friday haul. I think she got it for free actually when she was ordering off of Spectrum, and she was excited to try them, but when she opened it she was like, whoa, like the size of this in comparison to the box that it came in was just absolutely ridiculous. And I have to agree with that as well. But the product itself is a really nice product. So I have three. I have this one in Joyful, Uplifted and Playful. Playful is the one that if I said I really didn't need, I probably shouldn't have bought, was the only one. I'm regretful about buying that because it's a real Barbie pink colour. This one in Uplifted is a little bit more of a neutral colour, not that dissimilar to the ballet slippers that I was talking about from Denona. And Joyful is the one that I have used absolutely the most since I picked it up. It's just really, really beautiful, kind of little bit of pink, little bit of warmth, like you've got a flush to your cheeks, but also not in that kind of plum way. It's just a really, really nice natural colour for my cheeks. And the powder blush that I'm going to throw in is this from FAVES. It's what I've got on my cheeks today, and this is Sorbet. Now, I was very on the fence about these blushes. I didn't know if I wanted to buy it. I wasn't very sure if it was for me, and then when you're in the pop-up shop, you just kind of get sucked in, don't you? And I'm so glad that I did buy this. It is a beautiful, beautiful powder blush. I am not an overly powder blush kind of person. The majority of my collection of blushes is all going to be kind of cream blushes, liquid blushes, things like that, stick blushes. But I really, really enjoy this, and I kind of want to give a little nod to another blush as well that I picked up earlier in this year, and you probably haven't really seen me speak about, but see through the festive period I have pulled it out and I've been using it so much, and it is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk blush. Not the intense one, just the original. I have it, so I'm sticking a photo here. If you don't know what I'm on about, it's here. Has like the little dot, looks like a nipple. Has a little dot in the middle and then the colour on the outside, and it leaves a beautiful sheen on the skin as well. So I kind of want to give a nod to that. I've not used it loads throughout the year, but in the winter months, and especially over the festive period, it has just been such a beautiful kind of flush to the face as well. But this is going to be beautiful in the summer. This is going to be beautiful. I've got it on the now. In the winter months, it's like pink, but it's almost like, again, it just gives me that freshness to the face rather than looking like I've got pink blusher on. It's so, so pretty. Now for eyeshadow bases, I'm going to mention some that I spoke about last year, and that is the Beauty Pie Wonder Colour sticks, basically. These are like the dupes for the Laura Mercier Caviar sticks. I adore as well, and I do frequently use the one in copper. That's them there. This one is in On Taupe, and I also have another one in Choco here. I picked up, again, in my gift guide, you may have seen like the little sticks that give you other colours to try from. They got gifted out to people over Christmas. But I really, really like these. I think they're so easy just to swish on the lid, blend it out if you want, or concentrate it closer to the lash line. You can put powder on top of them. They work beautifully. I really, really like them. Kiko do similar ones too, Elf do similar ones as well, but with a lot of other smaller brands, you find that they've got mainly shimmer ones. I know that FAVES have just released shimmer ones as well. I've never tried the shimmer ones from FAVES, but the matte one that I tried from FAVES, I wasn't impressed with, I'm going to be honest. These are really good for like matte options, and again, yes, you have to be a member with Beauty Pie. I will put a link down below so you can get some money off a Beauty Pie. I am not paid to talk about them, but I think basically anybody that's a member gets that link and that code, so it'll get you like £10 off, or 10% off your first order. And you can pay for a yearly subscription now for £58, £59 I want to say, instead of £10 a month. So I do prefer that option. So if you're interested in Beauty Pie, I would definitely look into these. I have to mention the Zanessa Byrex Colour Fix. Again, something else that I mentioned in my gift guide. If you've got somebody who loves makeup, who is as much of a makeup junkie as I am, then these are phenomenal. Today I actually have this one here, which is Venus. This is one of the foils. I have that kind of all on the lid of my eyes, and I also have, I will show you in a minute what palette I'm wearing, but it's this beautiful kind of pinky gold, oh, iridescence, amazingness, so, so nice. But also, again, you see me talking about this in the gift guide, and this is the waterproof cream palette. This one is the vivid one, so there's lots of fun colours in here to play with, but you do get them in much more neutral tones as well. You don't have to buy this one that's really quite bright. I've got this bright one because I find it's really useful to have this in the one place rather than lots of loose things floating about. It's a really, really good palette to work with, but you can buy them in more neutral colour tones as well. This here as well, I'm just throwing in because I actually really like these, and I don't think I spoke about them too much during the year, but when I was doing some of my looks on Instagram throughout the year that were a bit more out there, a little bit more avant-garde, a little bit more different, this is the XX Revolution. Now, their shadows, no. If you've ever seen that video where I just absolutely failed at using those shadows, I'm going to put it up here. I did not enjoy them whatsoever. But these are their basically liquid eyeshadows. I don't know what the actual name for them is. I will find it and put it below. But this one is in Evoke, and it is very, very similar to the Natasha Denona kind of multi-chrome shadows, or I think, what do you call them? Lethal Cosmetics do something very similar. That's it there. Evokes this kind of green colour. And it's brilliant. It's a brilliant, brilliant kind of duochrome, like goes from different, like a petrol-y colour green, and that underneath shadows, brilliant. So with that being said, let's talk about shadows. First of all, again, I don't think this will be any surprise to you, something that I've reached for throughout the year and I don't think has left my actual vanity drawer. I've got where I keep all my makeup, and then I've got what I kind of use on the day-to-day in my vanity drawer. I try and swap it out as often as I can. It doesn't always happen, but I've never taken this out. This is the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. I think it is suitable pretty much all year round. Beautiful in the summer because of the yellow and orange tones in it. It's gorgeous. You can get away with a kind of almost purple look. Then in the autumn, the plums, the kind of orange, like pumpkin colour. And then here, there are kind of more neutral tones as well. If you just want a nice golden eye, if you just want a little colour with a popism. Such a beautiful palette, and I have used it so much over the last year. This one, as I say, has been in that drawer, getting used at least once a week throughout the whole year. Something a little bit different, a little bit more out there, it has to be the Club Nebula palette from Angelica, Nyqvist and Kaleidos. And this is definitely one that I've reached for when I've been wanting to do much more out there and interesting looks. But I have to say, this palette, I am so glad I got this, because this is limited edition. You can no longer get it. And some of the shades in this, they are just so different from any other palettes that I have. And I just think in the summertime, spring and summertime, I did not put this palette down. And actually some of them, especially with like kind of the more duochrome shades and the like shimmer shades, I've made a good dent in them. I really have. And I have to say, they were just so interesting. It's not your bog standard kind of rainbow palette that you would get. It's very much a muted rainbow palette. It's different. These tones here, I loved them. The Nebula one, it's like an orange, but it's also kind of pinky. And then this one here in Celestial, it's like a pink gold, and then kind of, they're amazing. You won't even see it in my hand there. I can't justify it. I can assure you, these are amazing. As you can't get this anymore, I would say go and try out other palettes from Kaleidos. I am a big advocate of Kaleidos. I think they are phenomenal. The Futurism palettes, they still do them, and I think they had a new one out more recent months. It was called the Flower Punk? Flower something. I can't quite remember what the second bit was, but this palette was used so much with some of the looks that I was doing over on Instagram, and I was reaching for it all the time. And finally, again, just squeezing its way in at the end of the year. And the reason being is because when I picked this up at the end of October, I have not put this down. I really haven't. This, again, has been on my face at least once a week. Even today, I used the Natasha Denona palette today along with one of the Denona Myricks foils. But this also came into play. I was using some of the neutral colours before I went in with more berry toned shadows. It's brilliant. I love this palette. It's so good. As I said before, I do have a video up and coming of kind of, you know, 4 looks 1 palette, 5 looks 1 palette, whatever it is. So far I've got 3 looks 1 palette. I probably will do a few more, and then there will be a video up. If you got this for Christmas, then keep posted, subscribe, all that kind of shit. And then you will get to see me doing looks with this palette, because I just think it's wonderful. It's so good. I can't believe I overlooked it when it first came out. Now for brows, I'm gonna say again this year, Glossy Boy Brow. Again, it's one that I do have a full size of in my kind of box of stuff that I pull out once I've ran out of stuff, but I don't want to open it just for the sake of doing this video. But what I will say is the Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brows, I'm going to put a photo here of it because that's currently in my empties basket as well. There will be an empties up and coming, don't worry. And I really enjoyed that. What I will say is though, that I think I enjoyed the wand more than the product. This here, this is from Beauty Pie, and this is the Archology Brow Gel. Sculpting gel. Fuck that up, didn't I? Sculpting gel, and I really like this product. The brush is more similar to that of the Glossy Boy Brow. It's a little bit bigger. If I could have Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brow wand with this product, chef's kiss. would be phenomenal, fantastic, because this is really what I've been reaching for lately. I really enjoyed this Charlotte Tilbury earlier in the year, but I'm just like, was it because of the wand? Was it more because of that than the actual product? I really need to be able to use that wand with, I wonder if I could just, if I pull out my empties, clean the wand, stick it in here. I might try that. Mascaras, I don't think this will come to shock anybody either. The Lashy doll from Lancome. This is a new one that Santa brought me. I was very lucky and he did listen, so I must have been good this year. So this is a second one of the Lancome Lashy doll. I initially got it in a miniature. They were giving away free ones if you went on Valentine's Day. Yeah, so it must have been about February. And then I went and bought the full size because I really enjoyed the miniature, and this is the second one. So it's a testament to the fact that I think this mascara is amazing. I love it, it's what I've got on today. And I still mascara is something that you go through quite quickly. So mascara is something that we'll always have a backup of. I will always be trying other brands of. I'm not always going to go out and buy one that's like 20-30 pounds like this one. But I think this is something that I will probably always go back to years forward, unless something else comes along and blows my socks off, because it is so good. Also, Glossy Lash Slick. Again, this one has probably been mentioned quite a lot over the years, and the reason is, I mean, these two are just completely different beasts. These two are just completely different, but for my work days, I do not want big, spidery, full, voluminous lashes. I just don't. I just want something to lift them slightly, look nice and fluttery, look au naturel, and that's exactly what Glossy Lash Slick does. I do have a backup of this as well, brand spanking new from when I picked up stuff from Glossier. So once I'm finished this one, I will open that too. So these are my two favourites, but for completely different reasons. Highlighters. The two absolutely outstanding ones from this year have to be the Danessa Myricks Dew Wet Balm. I think it just sneaked in at the end of last year. I love it. It's just a clear balm. It kind of gives you that glossy looking skin. It looks like the pan is empty because that's just the silver bit on the bottom, but I love it. I can use it all year round. I can put it top of other blushes and other colours and all that kind of stuff. I can mix it with other products to make it have a little bit of shimmer. It's phenomenal. But also the Vive Skin Dew blew me out of the water, and I again will buy a second one of this, and since I picked it up, it is what I've been using consistently. These are my two kind of honourable mentions for this year. I feel like one of the Kaleidos ones snuck in at the end of last year. It might have been the Mars Melter, but this is the Space Age Prophecy highlighter. And the reason I want to throw this in here as a bit of an honourable mention is because it's not one that I use on the top of the cheeks that often throughout the year, but it's definitely one that I go to for inner corner highlight, putting on top of other shadows to change the look of the shadows. This is a phenomenal highlighter and can be used in so many different ways. You could just put this all over your eyelid and be on your merry way, and it would look like a beautiful shadow. You don't need to use it as a highlighter, but it is so beautiful as a highlighter as well. It's high impact, but so nice. Again, this one is a little high impact, not one that I would be wearing on the daily, but it is what I've got on today. This is the Be Perfect Get Wet, and it's like a collaboration with Stacey Marie, I believe, makeup artist. And this one is in the Hollow Glaze, and it's like a pink holographic, amazing. And it is a cream, it's like a wet kind of feeling when you put it on, but it's got this most beautiful pinky sheen to it. It is a little bit out there. It's not one that, as I say, I'll be wearing absolutely every single day, because I've got some pink on my eyes today. We're going a little plummy, and my friend is coming around later. I thought, well, let's go for this. But that was my two kind of honourable mentions. But on the daily, these two are my absolute winners. For lip liners, nothing is really going to change. The Gloss My Heart ones that I've been speaking about since last year, at least, I don't think the last 2 years, maybe definitely last year it was mentioned. I love these. I think they are so good. The only thing I will say is I don't know if they've went defunct. They are a small business. I had been following them on Instagram. I've not seen anything from them recently. It was just a kind of one-woman show that was making them. I don't know if due to COVID and life and other things getting in the way, she's not been able to keep the business off the ground type thing. I will link them down below if you can still get them over an algorithm, because if you can, they are wonderful lip liners. But I don't know if they are still in production anymore. The other one that I want to mention is this one here, and that is from Beauty Pie, and it is the Moisture Lock Wonder Lip Gel, or Wonder Gel Lip, sorry. and this one is in Foxy. Now the reason I'm mentioning this one is because this is probably the one that I go to the most often for pretty much any colour of lipstick. Unless it's like a bright red or a really dark plum, then maybe I'll show you about. But this pretty much goes with anything. It's a beautiful neutral coloured lip liner. I adore it. I think it's so nice. And the actual quality of the product is beautiful. It's brilliant. It's kind of browny, but it's got enough orange and warmth in it that it doesn't look like it's too cool toned or like you've got really dark liner and then like a lighter lipstick. It's gorgeous all over the lips as well. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Now lipsticks, let's talk about lipsticks. There's basically 3 that I have loved this year. The Ultra Lips from Glossier, the Modern Lipsticks from FAVES, and these little skinny ones here from 3CE. These are available in YESSTYLE. I do have a code for YESSTYLE and a link, it will be down below if you fancy getting some money off. But basically these ones here, this is like my summer version. This one is in Cotton Up and then this one is in Fluffy Red. These are so good, and the reason that I fell in love with them is because they are reminiscent of that of my favourite ever lipstick, which is the MAC Powder Kiss in Devoted to Chili. It's so smooth, it's so soft, it is matte and gives you that blurred lip edge but doesn't leave you feeling like as if you're dry, like, you know, liquid lips. And these kind of remind me of that, so that's why I absolutely adored these this year. Also a little shout out to Naming as well, because they had a beautiful red that I was loving during the summer, and again for the same reason, very similar to the MAC Powder Kiss. But the ones that I've been enjoying like kind of more on the daily have definitely been the Glossier Ultra Lips. I have got mine in Villa, which is the more nude shade, which I wear all the time. And then today I've got this one on, which is Vesper, which is definitely more like a very pinky, plummy toned colour. And they're so easy. They're just like really nice lip balms, if I'm honest with you. They definitely leave nice colour there. You can obviously see that on my lip, but it's not like it'll get too messy too quickly. You can just throw it on. I didn't use a mirror there when I put that on. It's very easy, very quick. And as for my kind of going out fancy lipsticks, I have to say the FAVES Modern Matte Lipsticks are phenomenal. I have got Muse, which is the new red one, and I also have Power Suit, which is from the original collection of nudes, which is the darkest nude, but goes really well on my lips. I think these are beautiful lipsticks if you do want to get your hands on anything from FAVES. The lipsticks are probably up there as one of my favourite things. The eyeshadow palette I've not been able to put down, but I obviously owned one of the lipsticks before the shadow palette. I just feel like these are the standout winner in the collection. So if you are interested in FAVES, definitely check out the lipsticks. And lastly, we are very nearly done, I promise. I just want to do the couple of honourable mentions that are things that I don't really wear every single day. I knew I threw in like the Be Perfect one and the highlighters there, but this really truly is things that I think are phenomenal products, but not something that I wear every day. These are the Pastel Roses Flakies. These are the glitters. I've spoke about these before as well. You probably have seen me use them. This one is an Autumn Love. It's just the most beautiful like golden, green, pink autumnal shades. And this one here is Peacock, which is like blue, purple, blurple. Amazingness. They are so beautiful. So if you are interested in glitters and looks that are a little bit more far out, absolutely check these out. And then I have to mention Glsen Cosmetics. I did talk about this in my Black Friday haul. This is the kind of mixed pan of like the neutral shades that they do, but I do have lots of Glsen Cosmetics, and these are basically like water activated cake liners. So like this one here, for instance, is Teapot. It's the most beautiful thing. This one here is Strawberry Cheesecake, and this is a split liner, so you can see there's 2 shades in that. Love it, adore it. There's beautiful colours here like Loch Ness, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I did pick this up because it says Loch Ness, but it's a beautiful green colour. And there are some as well, is it this one? Pool Party. Pool Party is this beautiful kind of aqua green colour, but as you can see it's got a shimmer to it. These are amazing eyeliners and now are available much more readily on the market, like Beauty Bay and things like that. I think, are they on Cult as well? I feel like they're in 2 places. I keep saying this, but I feel like they're in 2 places, not just on Beauty Bay. But if you weren't wanting to buy directly from the site, it's up to yourself. I don't know how it all works. But definitely check out those eyeliners. They're really good as base as well. You don't have to use them just as a liquid liner, but they are so interesting. I adore them. And finally, I'm going to mention LARAFAYE again because, as I've said, sorry, I've not closed this bag and it looks like it's all falling apart. It's just because I've not zipped it. I spoke about them at length in my gift guide. I speak about them regularly all the time, so I'm not going to go into all the blurb about it. They have sent me things in the past. I need to let you know that. But this brush company, the collections are beautiful. The kits that they come in are beautiful. The brushes themselves are absolutely gorgeous. This is what I put on my blush today with. This is what I put on my foundation today with. This is the F14. This one here is my favourite bronzer brush. This is the F02. They are so nice. So if you need something to put on all of your makeup, please go and check out LARAFAYE. And I think that's where I'm going to end it because I have been talking for an age and my friend is going to come round for nachos. So I better go and make some nachos and actually put some shit together before she gets here. So with that, I hope you're all having a great time. I will have a skincare one up and coming as well. And I will have a regrets video from 2001 up and coming as well. I hope you've all had a lovely festive period and I'll see you all again in the next one. Bye.